Entire nations once ruled the world, then vanished so completely that even history books were left guessing. These lost civilizations hold secrets we're only starting to uncover. Imagine a city more advanced than Rome, with plumbing and urban planning that would make a modern engineer weep, and then one day, it's just gone. Or a culture that could predict celestial events with pinpoint accuracy, building pyramids aligned with the stars, only to abandon their magnificent cities to the jungle. These aren't just stories. They are real places, real people, whose echoes are only now being heard. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the past, to walk the ghost-haunted streets of empires that time forgot. Let's start in what is now Pakistan and Western India, with the Indus Valley civilization. Flourishing over 4,000 years ago, these people were masters of urban design. Cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were marvels of engineering. We're talking about multi-story brick houses, intricate drainage systems, and even the world's first known toilets. They had a sophisticated system of weights and measures, traded with distant Mesopotamia, and created beautiful art. But here's the mystery. We can't read their writing. Their script, found on thousands of small seals, remains undeciphered. And then, around 1900 BCE, their society began to decline. The cities were gradually abandoned. Was it a dramatic climate shift that dried up the rivers they depended on? Was it an invasion? Or did internal conflicts tear them apart? Without their own written words to guide us, we're left piecing together clues from silent ruins, trying to understand why this incredibly advanced society simply faded away. Now let's journey across the world to the dense jungles of Mesoamerica. Home to the mighty Maya, from around 250 to 900 AD, the Maya built a civilization that dominated the region. They weren't a single unified empire, but a network of powerful city-states like Tikal and Calakmul, each ruled by a divine king. Their achievements were staggering. They developed a complex writing system, one of the few fully developed scripts in the Americas. They were brilliant astronomers, creating calendars more accurate than those used in Europe at the time. They could predict solar eclipses and tracked the path of Venus with incredible precision. Their art and architecture, from towering limestone pyramids to intricately carved stelae depicting their history, are breathtaking. But then, in the southern lowlands, the classic Maya collapse began. One by one, the great cities were deserted. The monuments stopped being built. The jungle reclaimed what had been bustling urban centers. What happened? Theories range from intense, prolonged warfare between the city-states, to overpopulation and environmental degradation that led to famine, to a series of devastating droughts. It was likely a perfect storm of all these factors, a cascade of crises that this brilliant civilization simply could not overcome. The people didn't disappear, but their grand classical way of life did. Let's sail out into the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Here, the story isn't about cities of stone, but about people of the sea, the Polynesians. Theirs is one of the most incredible stories of human migration and exploration. Using only the stars, the currents, and the flight of birds as their guides, they navigated thousands of miles of open ocean in double-hulled canoes, settling a vast triangle of islands from Hawaii to New Zealand to Easter Island. This was a civilization that mapped the ocean long before Europeans dared to venture far from shore. They were master navigators, oral historians, and astronomers. A key puzzle in their story is the Lapita people, their likely ancestors, who appeared in the western Pacific around 1600 BCE with distinctive pottery. They spread rapidly, but then there was a long pause of nearly 1,000 years before the great push into the far reaches of Polynesia. What caused this pause, and what spurred the final incredible wave of exploration? And how did they manage these feats of navigation with knowledge we are still trying to fully reconstruct? Their civilization didn't vanish, it transformed and adapted to each new island. But the secrets of their ancient navigational science represent a form of knowledge that was nearly lost to the world. Back in North America, nestled in the sheer cliffs of the southwestern United States, are the silent cities of the Anasazi, or ancestral Pueblones. Between 900 and 1300 AD, they constructed astonishing multi-story dwellings and ceremonial centers, like those at Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde. These weren't just simple huts. They were complex apartment buildings, some with hundreds of rooms, all built into cliff alcoves or on top of mesas. They were skilled farmers, developing irrigation techniques to grow corn, beans, and squash in an arid landscape. They built a vast network of roads connecting their communities. Then, by the late 1200s, they began to leave. They systematically abandoned these incredible cliff palaces that had taken generations to build. The reasons are still debated. A major drought, known as the Great Drought, certainly played a huge role, making farming impossible. Resource depletion and social or religious upheaval may also have contributed. They didn't disappear. Their descendants are the modern Pueblo peoples of Arizona and New Mexico. But they walked away from their ancestral homes, leaving behind these hauntingly beautiful and empty cities in the cliffs, a silent testament to a world that once was. Now for a civilization that left behind one of the most enigmatic legacies in the ancient world, the Olmec. Thriving in the lowlands of south-central Mexico from about 1500 to 400 BCE, they are often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica, because many later civilizations, including the Maya and the Aztecs, adopted and built upon their ideas. The Olmec were the first in the region to build large ceremonial centers and pyramids, but they are most famous for their colossal heads. These are massive stone sculptures, some weighing up to 50 tons, carved from volcanic basalt and depicting mature men with fleshy cheeks and flat noses. We believe they are portraits of powerful Olmec rulers. But think about the logistics. The stone was quarried and transported over 100 miles to their cities, presumably without the use of wheeled vehicles or draft animals. How did they do it? What did these heads signify? And why did their civilization decline around 400 BCE? Like others, they faced environmental changes, perhaps the silting of rivers that altered their agricultural lands. Whatever the cause, their influence lived on, but their own great centers like Levanta and San Lorenzo were reclaimed by the earth, their giant heads the only sentinels left to guard their secrets. Finally, we must touch upon the most legendary lost civilization of all, Atlantis. First mentioned by the Greek philosopher Plato, Atlantis was described as a powerful and advanced naval power that conquered parts of Europe and Africa around 9,000 years before his time. It was an idyllic island nation, a marvel of engineering and wealth, located somewhere beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. But after a failed attempt to invade Athens, the story goes the island was struck by a terrible catastrophe. In a single day and night of misfortune, Atlantis sank beneath the waves, lost forever. For centuries, people have debated whether Plato's story was a philosophical allegory about the hubris of nations or a genuine historical account passed down through generations. Explorers have searched for it everywhere, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean to Antarctica. While no credible evidence of Atlantis has ever been found, the story taps into a deep human fascination. Could such a place have existed? Perhaps the story was inspired by a real event, like the massive volcanic eruption of Thera in the Aegean Sea, which devastated the Minoan civilization on Crete. The Minoans were a sophisticated Bronze Age culture, with grand palaces and a powerful navy, and their sudden decline has parallels to the Atlantis legend. The idea of a utopian paradise lost to a cataclysm continues to tempt explorers and dreamers, a powerful symbol of all the knowledge and history that might be hidden from us. From advanced plumbing in the Indus Valley to the celestial mastery of the Maya, from the seafaring genius of the Polynesians to the cliff cities of the Anasazi and the giant heads of the Olmec, these lost worlds pose more questions than answers. Climate change, warfare, disease, societal collapse, the reasons for their demise are complex and often intertwined. They serve as a powerful reminder that even the greatest civilizations are fragile. But their stories are not just tales of decline. They are testaments to human ingenuity, resilience, and our unending quest to understand our place in the universe. They were wiped from the map, but not from our collective curiosity. Their silent stones and lost languages continue to call to us across the centuries, promising that there are still incredible secrets buried, just waiting to be rediscovered. Which of these lost worlds do you think might rise again if discovered? What secrets do you think they'd hold? Let us know your fascinating theories down in the comments. We read every single one. And if you enjoyed this journey into hidden history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.